Hello everyone and welcome to Bullet Journaling with Eve. Today we are doing something for the first time ever. I will create my reading spread. I called it a mindful reading journey. And let's start with materials as we always do. So, I will use this bullet journal stencil and I will use this one to rate the book after reading it. Then you will need a bullet journal. I will also use these two Unipin point liners in 0.3 and 0.8 sizes. These three dual-tip markers with brush tips because I divided my books in three different categories. Then the SIPA calligraphic pen SB57 for my title, and I printed out covers of books that I want to read on this sticky paper, and I will also need scissors to cut them out. And I will also need tape for masking. And I also printed out a summary for each book that I want to write down, and I will also need a ruler to measure everything. So, let's go straight into it. I was thinking that I could include this in my old bullet journal from the beginning of 2025 because I really like that journal and there is a plenty of space that is there. But then I realized that I have this bullet journal that is finally a journal with numbered pages. I have this index where I can easily find all my spreads. I decided to do this in my new bullet journal and just put my old bullet journal aside and give it some rest. This is the first time that I am including something like this in my bullet journal. This whole process took me over 10 hours. If we are just talking about designing and creating this, not editing and everything like that, but just the whole process of designing. And I will start with writing down this title with my SIPA calligraphic pen, and that is Mindful Reading Journey. And I don't want to name this to be read because I will not be able to read all of these books during this year because there are 20 books. But I divided my books into three categories. First is the mental clarity and emotional well-being. And I will use this pale pink because this color evokes reflection, calm, and inner depth. Then I have focus, health, and self-leadership. And I will mark this group with this pale yellow because this shade radiates discipline, drive, and transformation. And the last category is wealth, value, and smart actions. And I will use green for it because this reflects growth, stability, and ambition. And I will mark the beginning of each category with 2 cm color strip that will contain the color and the title of that category. And then for each book I will also have 1.5 cm color strip with the color of the category and the book title. Now let's talk about how I decided to organize this spread. As I mentioned, for my title and title of my book, I will color that block completely with the category color. Then, I also have this rating that I will color depending on how I will rate the book, and I will also note if I have that book, if I ordered it, or if I don't have it yet. Then, I was thinking that each book should have the same amount of space, and because this title is already taking a lot of space, I decided to mark each page like this, and then I ended up with a lot of empty space on other pages that don't have titles. So, in the end, I decided to just go with the amount of space that I have on that page, so if a page has a title, then 2 books that are there will have less space for focus, description, and my review. But I still think it's going to work. Or I hope it's going to work. And yeah, I will erase everything that I already pre-sketched. As I mentioned, I first thought that I will do it differently and then I slapped on it. and decided to do it like this. So, this is how we will do it. We will mask each part with this tape. And here I am just making that category title. So, 2 centimeters of color, and then 1 dot in between, so half a centimeter will be empty, and then 1 centimeter strip for the book title. And then I will measure that, and the same in the bottom part. And as you can see, I am always reusing this tape. And this took me a lot of time, and as I mentioned at the beginning, this took me 10 hours to prep, so 4 hours to research and find the books that I wanted to include in this prep, then 2 hours to prepare that focus writing that I will write for each book, so I know which one I want to read next. Then I think that the filming took like 5 hours. And as you can see here, we have a new day where I already colored everything with the appropriate colors. At the beginning, we have this category mental clarity and emotional well-being. And here I use this pale pink. Then we have this yellow for my focus, habits and self-leadership category. And as you can see, I was not like 100% precise, but I think this looks good for now. And then I have my wealth, value and smart action category in green. The next thing that we will do is that we are going to write down titles for each category with this 0.8 Unipin point liner. And then with this 0.3 Unipin point liner and this stencil, I'm going to create these 5 bars for rating. I will speed up this process a little bit, and I will use the paper that I prepared to just rewrite everything here. And yeah, here you can see me just creating it. And now I will take these covers and I will cut them out. And then we are going to organize these books into these categories that they belong to. And then for each of those categories, we are going to organize in which order I want to read those books. But I can change that order later on if I decide that I am in the mood for something else. So, let's start with the first category, mental clarity and emotional well-being. And here, I will start with this Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate. This is probably the best book I have ever read. As you can see, I have it here. I'm almost done with it. I have just like 30 pages left, and I really enjoyed this book because it talks in depth about ADD, and it's explaining why your brain works the way it works, how you can help yourself and others that have the same disorder. Then I will go with his next book, When the Body Says No, and then The Myth of Normal because I want to have them here. Then I will go with The Body Keeps the Score. And then I will go with the High on Life, and after that I will go with Glucose Revolution. After that I will go with Why We Get Sick. But I will talk about these books more if you are interested during the video, when we will write down the titles and focus on each. So now I will just stick these books here, and this is the reason why I really enjoyed bullet journaling, because you can include anything that you want to focus on in that moment. So you can create spreads for your goals, you can create your reading spreads, you can create your daily logs, you can create whatever it is that is happening in your life at the moment and you want to focus on and that you want to track. Okay, now the next category: focus, habits, and self-leadership. We will start with Atomic Habits, and this is the book that I don't have at home right now because I borrowed it to my friend, but this is exactly the book that started everything for me. That helped me organize myself, that helped me organize my habits, and I was doing this with paper clips just to have a track of my habits. And then I read this bullet journal method. I have it in Slovak, but here I found out how I can do it even easier in a more creative way. Because the simplest bullet journal way is just to write down everything, but you can also be creative. As you can see, my bullet journal is growing that way. I really enjoy these two books, and these two books are like game changers for me. And when I decided to do this spread, I wanted to include these two books because I never wrote anything about these two books in my bullet journal. So I want to include them. Then I will go for hyperfocus. And then I have these two books: 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Crucial Conversations. And these are two books that my friends recommended to me. And then I have these two books by Benjamin Hardy. And these are the books that my doctor and my friend also recommended to me. So I will read these as well. Now I will just stick to this again, all of them. And yeah, we will go to the next category. Okay, and the last category is wealth, value, and smart actions. Here I will start with a book that I just bought, and this is Psychology of Money. Then I will go with the 80-20 principle, then the Lean Startup, the E-Myth Revisited, and then Start with Why, and then the Millionaire Fast Line. I will start with Psychology of Money, and this is the book that I think I found on Instagram. And this E-Myth Revisited, I have this book in Slovak, and this is the reason why I didn't put it as the first one, because now while I am focusing on my English, I want to read in English. But if I wouldn't be, then I would maybe start with that one. And I will just mark each book that I already order or have at home. This will take me a few minutes, and for you this is going to be just a few seconds. And this is the next day, and we have a different desk now. And now it's time to write down titles for each book and to write down what is the focus of the book and who the authors are. When I said that this took me a lot of time, that also means that this entire process took me 3 days. And that is why you have a lot of changes in lighting and everything like that. But now I will write a focus for each book, and also later when I read this book I will write a review for it. So while I'm writing the focus, I want to tell you something about these books. We will start with Scatter Minds. This is more of a clinical look. This book feels like a gentle guide to understanding scattered attention as a message, not a flaw. Then we have When Body Says No. It teaches us to listen to what our body has been trying to say all along, especially when we refuse to rest, feel, or speak up. Then we have The Myth of Normal. This is the book that Gabor Mate is writing with his son. Mate's words feel like a wake-up call to redefine what's normal, not based on what we tolerate, but what we truly need to try. And then we have The Body Keeps the Score on this page. And this book gently opens your eyes to how our past experiences live within us and reminds us that healing isn't just mental, it's deeply physical too. On the next page, we will start with High on Life. Once you understand your brain's inner chemistry, the whole emotional landscape becomes easier to navigate and influence. Then we have The Glucose Revolution. This is your go-to guide if you want to feel more energized, more balanced, and yes, still enjoy that occasional cookie. This is the book that I found on YouTube. I really enjoy her videos, so I decided to buy this book as well. And the last of this kind of book is Why We Get Sick. Simple yet powerful, this book makes you rethink what healthy actually looks like in the world we live in. Then we have Atomic Habits. This book is like a reset button. It shows you how change isn't about giant leaps, but tiny daily wins. After that, we have a second page for me, A New Day, and here we will start with the bullet journal method. This isn't just about tasks, it's about clarity, focus, and creating space for what really matters. After that, we have hyperfocus. Think of this book as a mental declutter session. It trains your brain to focus without forcing it. Then we have the 7 habits of highly effective people. Each habit feels like a step closer to becoming the person you admire, disciplined, kind, and grounded. And the last book that we have on this page is Crucial Conversations. This book doesn't just teach you to talk, it teaches you to connect even when tensions arise. Here you can see that Mia decided to visit me, and she will be here, so I hope you don't mind her being here. She is such a cutie kitty cat, and she really enjoys cuddles, as you can see me cuddling her now. And my hand started to hurt me, so I decided to take a little bit of a break. And then we have 4 other books too. So, Be Your Future Self Now. This book makes the future feel magnetic. It teaches you how to act as the person you aspire to become. Then we have Personality Isn't Permanent. What if you could redefine who you are starting today? This book makes that feel possible and exciting. Then we have The Psychology of Money. It reminds you that wealth isn't just about math. It's about mindset, patience, and knowing yourself. And now, while I'm recording this audio, I already started reading The Psychology of Money, and the first chapter was but the second one is much better. So I hope it's going to be great. Then we have the 80-20 principle. Once you see the 80-20 rule in your life, you will never want to waste time on the wrong 80 again. Then we have the Lean Startup. It teaches you to experiment boldly, fall wisely, and create something people actually want. Then we have the E-Myth Revisited. This book feels like a business therapist. It helps you get out of your own way and work smarter. Then we have Start With Why. This book gives your goals a backbone. It's about the why behind every powerful what. And then the last one, The Millionaire Fast Line. Bold and provocative. This book will either challenge you or completely change your path. That is all that I found about these books. Some of them I already read, some of them, The Psychology of Money, I'm reading right now while recording this audio. While I was filming this video, I was reading Scattered Minds and I finished it. But we will talk about the review in one of my shorts. Spoiler alert, I really enjoyed that book. But now, just some finishing touches. I will take this Sipa calligraphic pen and I will mark each book that I have at home. So I already marked all of these that I have ordered or already have at home. And if you want to, you can leave me a comment down below if there are any books I should also consider or look for. I would be really grateful for any recommendation. It's not that I am looking for something specific. I just want to read something that will help me grow more and more. Because, as you remember, the word of my year this year is growth. So leave me a comment down below, even if you see that I have some books here that you think that are not very good and I shouldn't read them. If I haven't ordered them yet, then I just won't. But if you know about some books that are really great, I will be really happy to include those as well. And yeah, this is finally done. I will film my review on Atomic Habits and the books that I already read. And if you don't want to miss that, please subscribe so you don't miss my reviews of these books that I already finished. That will include Scattered Minds, Atomic Habits, and the bullet journal method. So I will film this as shorts while I'm writing my review. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss those. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I hope this video helps you find some interesting books if you like to read books like this. And I will see you next Friday. Bye!